Career transitions can sometimes feel lonely, overwhelming, and quite frankly, pretty confusing, because you're in the space of what's called liminality. Liminality means you're not who you used to be, those old roles or identities don't quite fit anymore, but you're not yet who you'd like to become. Maybe you don't even know who that version of you is yet. It's kind of like a snail that's starting to grow, and maybe that old shell doesn't fit anymore, but hasn't yet found the new shell that fits perfectly. And if that's where you are right now, know that you're not alone. Because what if this experience, this transition, turned out to be one of the greatest opportunities for you to reconnect with yourself and uncover what really matters to you? As a certified career coach specializing in working with leaders in transition, I've personally seen how taking some time to tune inward, be curious, and listen to that inner voice, that inner wisdom, can take something uncertain and confusing and transform it into that greatest amount of clarity and certainty about the next best step for you, which ultimately translates into the results that you get in life. So that's why in this video, we're gonna explore 9 powerful questions to help you uncover more of those layers of who you are, what you want, in the infinite amount of possibilities available to you. Now, why is this important? Why is taking this time to answer these questions important? Well, when we're in a career transition, or any transition for that matter, sometimes we want to rush into updating the resume, going to networking events, or applying to thousands of jobs. But the truth is that in any transition, personal or professional, it's an inside-out process, meaning that your inner reality, the amount of clarity and awareness that you cultivate within, is directly reflected into the experience that you have in the outer world. By the end of this video, once you answer each of these questions, you'll have the best next step that you need to take that aligns with that inner wisdom that you've uncovered. And if you do choose to use this for a career-related reason, when you do this reflection, it'll be easier to identify a role or a company that aligns not only with your professional goals, of course, but also just with your personal essence, that joy within you. So that way, what you find next is sustainable for you. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. I invite you to download the PDF version of these questions in the description box below. And there you can fill it out in a fillable PDF. You can print out the PDF and journal your responses. Or if you'd like to just go old school, find a journal and write your responses in that journal as well. If you'd like, you can also find a friend or a trusted advisor and download that PDF together and explore those questions through a conversation and verbal processing. It's a fun way to connect with someone you love and, of course, get to know yourself on a deeper level. All right, question number 1. It's the inner calling question, which asks, I've always wanted to explore this job, vocation, hobby, passion, but this question really taps into your inner passions, your inner calling, that voice that may have started out as a whisper, but is starting to get louder and louder and louder and louder. But it also gets a little bit more clarity about what are those limiting beliefs? What are some of those fears? For example, someone might have a limiting belief that I've always wanted to explore music, but I don't think I can make money doing what I love. Now, this reminds me of the bear story, which essentially says that many years ago, there was a bear at a zoo. And the bear was at a zoo that didn't have much funding. It was a small zoo. So really the bear's enclosure was about 8 feet. So the bear just paced back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth in this enclosure, just 8 feet. But over time, the zoo got more funding, and they were able to increase the size of the bear's space. They installed these water features and grass and another mile of space for the bear to roam. But what happened? The bear kept pacing the same 8 feet. The bear wasn't even aware of what's possible. And the bear kept itself in that self-imposed limitation because that's what felt safe. So I invite you to ask yourself, what belief might be holding you back from exploring what's really calling to you? And what might happen if you let it go? Now, if you are starting to become aware of some of these inner limitations, I do have a havening practice that I'll link in the description box to really help soften some of those limiting beliefs, maybe even completely let them go. Havening's a tool that uses gentle touch to regulate the nervous system and to let go of what's not serving you for greater alignment and resilience within you. All right, question number 2. This is the parallel universe question, and it's quite a fun question. I invite you to allow yourself to get playful and curious with this one. We're going to use our imagination. This question asks, if I could freeze time and explore a parallel universe, what would I do for a whole year? Now imagine these are the conditions: unlimited time, unlimited money, unlimited resources, and you can try as many careers or skills or hobbies as you like. What paid jobs would you do? What would you learn? What new hobbies or skills? Who or what would you want to help? What would you want to try just for fun in this parallel universe where time is frozen? This question can help reveal some of those passions or hobbies that may have been so far beneath the surface that we haven't maybe even considered consciously yet. But it allows us to explore this parallel universe in a fun way, where there's no restrictions or limitations. So question number 3 is the childhood wisdom question, which asks, what activities brought me the most joy as a child? Now, as children, we tend to hold a lot of wisdom about what we love, what we're drawn to, before we receive any conditioning from parents or teachers or friends. And it's important to also connect this with what this might mean about our authentic self today. For example, maybe you love art or music or science or nature. What excited you? And what can you learn from that today? I'll give you an example. When I said earlier, I actually use these questions myself, and I'm not in a career transition, but these are always helpful to just get to know more about ourselves. And what showed up for me is that I loved art and I loved playing in the dirt as a kid. Now, does that mean I'm going to go outside and go play in the dirt? No. But I actually did sign up for a pottery class to be able to just explore using my hands to make something beautiful. So there's always wisdom in how we used to be as children. We just have to reconnect with that sort of passion and that excitement, that freedom. Question number 4 is about skills and abilities, and it asks, what skills or abilities do you find yourself enjoying most nowadays? What is it that really energizes you and fulfills you? Maybe it's bringing a group of people together under a common intention. Or maybe it's building a program or an event or a course that will make people's lives easier. Maybe it's organizing something that only you can really organize in your head. Or researching a topic that's so intriguing for you. Maybe it's creating a new and innovative solution to people's problems in the tech world. What is it for you that's just so exciting? And how do your skills and abilities correspond to that? All right, moving on to question number 5, which is all about the perfect workday. If you could design the perfect ideal workday or lifestyle, what would it include? Specifically, what would your schedule look like? What are you surrounded by, or who are you surrounded by? And what activities would you love to be doing? Question number 6 is really about your inner fulfillment. If you were to recall, over the last few years, 3 memories from the past where you felt deeply satisfied, could be big or small, what would those be? What were you doing? Where were you? Who was there with you? And once you get clear on some of those specifics about you and others there, what does that tell you about your best self? What could you extract from that so you could replicate it into the future? Question number 7 is called true passion. What do people say that I'm good at? And what am I truly passionate about? The reason we ask this question is because sometimes parts of us get really good at taking on certain roles or adapting certain skills. But deep down, our heart is pulling us in a different direction. So for you, what is that whisper in your heart that's been speaking up? What's it saying? If you were to really listen there, what's that breadcrumb that it's giving you about just the next step to follow? Question number 8, we're nearing the end here, is all about self-appreciation. What do you love or like the most about yourself? What do you appreciate about yourself? You are unique and special and individual in your own way. You have your gifts that the world needs for you to share. And how can you express these gifts, what you appreciate about yourself, into your life with those that you love? And finally, last but certainly not least, is about legacy and impact. What kind of mark do you want to make on the world and others' lives? And it doesn't have to be some grandiose impact. It could even just be your children or close friends, family members, maybe just neighbor down the street. How do you want them to remember you? How do you want to touch people's lives, directly or indirectly? All right, very good. So these are the 9 powerful questions that you can use to get creative and turn the focus back inside to really get those golden nuggets and those learnings. As one of my mentors says, when a ship has sunk, we gotta scuba dive down into the water and extract all the gold to take with us onto the next journey, onto the next ship. So enjoy taking this time to really get those golden nuggets from your life, from your past experiences, from your heart, that you can take with you into the next phase of the transition that you are in right now. And with all of these awarenesses in mind, I invite you to ask yourself, what is one step? What is even a small next step that you're committed to taking? Maybe you'd even like to enlist a fellow friend or family member to hold you accountable for this as well. As Lao Tzu says, knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is wisdom. So thank you for making this time to connect with your inner wisdom. I trust that it'll serve you well. And I'd love to hear what evolved or showed up for you in the comments below. And remember, of course, that there's a PDF download in the description box. And if you were noticing any of those limiting beliefs showing up, know that I've also linked that havening, softening limiting beliefs practice in the description. And if you need one-on-one support, feel free to contact me through my website, which is also in the description box. So sending you lots of love, and I'll see you next time.